Hi there, my name is Rachel, and today I would like to showcase a bunch of the autumn books that I actually have in my collection. I'm probably going to go through my whole collection here. Most of these, or a lot of these autumn books, are recent releases from the last month or two. These are books I picked up. A lot of them actually have been early October even. A lot of them came out in September. I had picked up several books this summer, and I just wasn't able to get to doing the videos. So I will do the proper flip-throughs for a lot of these books. But I wanted to kind of showcase them while it was still the correct season so that if the flip-throughs get pushed, and you happen to see a book, be like, oh, I kind of wanted that before, but I'm not in the mood to color that right now. So I'm just going to simply go through my autumn book collection so that you can kind of see what is available out there if there's a book that you have not come across before. So with that, I'm just going to start going through the different companies that I have picked up books, the autumn books for. Now, one of the reasons I'm doing an autumn collection, not only is because that is the season, but also because that is one of the areas of books that I really, really like. I love coloring pumpkins. Like a lot of people, like kind of get in their zen. They color mandalas and patterns and stuff, and they just kind of don't think about it, and they get all stress relief and kind of chilled out. And that's kind of for me coloring pumpkins. Like doing other pictures, I love doing art pictures, but that takes a lot of work of figuring what I want to do. Lighting, looking up photos of things to get correct colorations and stuff like that. But pumpkins, like I can just color I could just color a book of nothing but pumpkins. So I get a lot of the autumn books because I want to color pumpkins and leaves and the autumn things. So I have a lot of autumn books. Now the first one I have here, this one came out a little bit earlier this year. I know I got this maybe a couple months back. This is Creative Haven. Creative Haven is not an Amazon on-demand book. Most of the books I get are Amazon on-demand books, but this is a company that puts them out. They have a couple different artists. Teresa Goodridge, of the artists they have, Teresa Goodridge is my favorite. I get a lot of her books. I don't generally get many of the other artists out there. She's got a really nice fluid style, dark lines, a little sketchbooky, but it still looks concise together. Nice detail, but also not overly detailed. So I really like these. Now the paper in this book, because a lot of the books I do, like I said, a lot of the books I tend to get are the Amazon, so they all have the Amazon paper. Some people really love this paper because it's thicker. This is thicker paper than the Amazon paper. My issue with the Creative Haven paper is that it is very smooth. So it doesn't have a lot of tooth. And because I do a lot of layers and a lot of textures and things with colored pencil, the smoother paper means you can only get a few layers before you have saturated your binders and you really can't get any more. So I do like the Creative Haven because you can use some water mediums on here because it's a little bit thicker. It'll rumple, but it'll kind of dry, smooth. But the issue I have is if I try and do colored pencil details, then I just can't get the depth that I want. I have some a number of the watercolor colored pencils, which are great, but you try and use those in the Amazon books. The Amazon books can't take the water. They rumple terribly. So I can't use those, but I found that with this one, when I try to use watercolor color pencils, the colored pencil doesn't get enough pigment on the paper. So the watercolor part you can do, as long as you do a light layer of water. But because of the fact that it's so smooth and the colored pencil needs that tooth to get the pigment out, I have difficulties with the Creative Haven for that reason. But they are great books. They're absolutely perfect for markers. And if you layer, I have also found that if you layer colored pencils over markers, that actually, because sometimes the markers rough up the paper a little bit, that actually makes you do have more tooth. So I do like the Creative Haven books, and a lot of people want this kind of paper for like all the Amazon ones. I actually like the Amazon ones because I like the toothier paper. I would take toothier, slightly thinner paper over thicker, smoother paper, which isn't everybody's preference. Obviously, the best preference is a thicker, toothier paper, but well, it is what it is. So anyway, I really like this book. Nice, the Autumn Charm. Just fun little pictures of autumn scenes, autumn inspired, you know, just setups, or, you know, the little pumpkin made out of corn, or turkey made out of pumpkin and corn. Just fun little pictures, so really like this book. And I do have other Creative Haven books, but this was the only autumn one I had. Okay, and then I have a couple books from Damita Victoria, and I want to say this one came out this year. This one, I want to say might have been last year. I don't remember, honestly. And she has a number of the autumn books, but I think a lot of those are older. And again, I don't know if Damita Victoria is actually just a company. I think it might just be a company. Sometimes you know if an artist is a specific artist or if it's a company. I think Damita Victoria is a coloring book company. So this book, I think, and I don't know that it says, sometimes they have the date. I don't think this one had the date on it. But this one, so this one might have been from last year, but this one is done by the Damita Victoria company, and these are pretty detailed. I find that the Damita Victoria pictures have, there is a level of, I'm trying to figure out what I'm trying to say here. Like, there's a lot of things that are drawn and more organic, whereas the Damita Victoria ones seem much more like straight lines, Obviously, they've got some organic shapes in there, but it feels a lot more. I'm trying to figure out what I'm trying to say here. It feels a lot more structured, or put together. Like, not like, oh, I drew a picture, but oh, I got out my ruler and I measured everything, and so it's very, very, very straight, boxy. Not a bad thing at all. I am a little bit more of an organic person, but I still like it. It's just there seems to be something about it that just makes it so everything is like straight lines, straight lines, straight lines. Obviously the leaves and stuff aren't, but you get a lot of these buildings and stuff, and it seems like it's very, very put together. Maybe even digital. Maybe it's more digital and less hand drawn. I'm not really sure, but you can see this book has kind of thinner lines. Sometimes the books have a little thicker lines, but this one has very thin lines. Still, perfectly able to be seen. They're not really bold, but they're also not faded, so you can't really tell what's going on. Lots of little details, and I do like the little details. Those are great for colored pencils, especially, because you can just kind of, if you just focus each little individual one, you can just kind of mindlessly do it, and then the whole picture looks full and beautiful at the end, and you don't really have to think about it. And these books do feature double images. So that was their Hello Autumn, which I believe came out last year. And I want to say she's got some other autumn ones that I have not picked up. And this one did come out this year, within the last couple of months. And this is 100 easy autumn pictures. So these pictures are going to be 100 unique. There's not going to be the double. There's never the doubles in the 100 ones. And these ones are going to be the bold lines, much more simple, simplistic, which I love. Like, things like this, I love things like this, because when you add the textures, you can really make this look 3D. Like, some people don't like it, like, oh, it's too babyish, it's too simple. You know, I want something more challenging. Well, you can take something simple, and by adding the texture to it, you can actually make it pretty challenging. You can really bring it out. You can, and that's kind of, I don't know, maybe that's the fun of it for me. I love the easy picture books, because it's kind of like, how can I bring this bird to life and make it less of just a flat thing. That's my own personal thing. But I do actually like these easy books. Some people only want the easy books because they don't want all those tiny little details. I really like the variety. Sometimes I'm in a mood just to do easy stuff, and sometimes I'm in the mood to only do the complicated stuff. And then I can easily go to my bookshelf and say, what am I in the mood for today? And it's nice to have them separated out like that. But so as you can see, nice fall pictures, lots of pumpkins. I love this book for all the pumpkins. Easy pictures to go through. and lots of way to bring it to life. So really like this book. And again, I will do the proper flip throughs. I'm just giving a hint so you can kind of see if they're the types of pictures that you're interested in, or if you can say, oh, nope, no way, those pictures do not interest me at all. So that's kind of the point of doing these compilation videos like this. Okay, so that was the Damita Victoria books I have. Now I have quite a number, and actually I don't even have all of the ones they have. This is Coloring Book Cafe. Now, I do a lot of Coloring Book Cafe books. It's probably the company I watch the most for new releases. Just something about them. I really like them. They don't do the double print, so they are the thinner books. I really like their style. They have really nice, well, they have some different artists. And so, like, this one is a little bit more whimsical, a little bit more, maybe cartoony, but not cartoony like some of the more, like chibi or any of those kinds of styles. This one is their Autumn Vibes. So this actually has the words in it, and I also like because these ones have the thumbnails at the beginning. But really like this book. I should let you see the pictures a little bit better here. And I'm not a big one on words all the time, but every once in a while I like to do the words ones. So I don't tend to get the ones that are just words, or the ones that have big words and just a little bit around. But I kind of like this one because, again, I like my fall, and I like, just pop into that page, and I like the little variety. So that was their Autumn Vibes, and again, this one is brand new this year. Just came out within the last month. I want to say most of these autumn ones came out within the last month. So they have Autumn Vibes, Country Autumn. This one has the, really beautiful scenery pictures. I really like the scenery pictures. I don't seem to get to those a lot when I'm coloring, but they're the ones I look forward to coloring, and then I'm not sure what happens. But love this artwork. Nice, crisp, clean areas to color. The lines, as you can see, they're not the over dark lines. So when you color them, they can look very realistic because the lines don't overpower. But there's still a lot of detail. So I really love this book. There's my work in progress there. As you can see, just things that make you think of autumn. Pumpkin displays, leaves, harvest fruits, animals. I love the realistic style. I guess maybe my biggest draw to the Coloring Book Cafe books is they have a lot of very realistic style, and because I like doing my textures, I like the realistic style. And there's companies I get that are like the fantasy books, and these ones, they don't do a whole lot of the fantasy. It's much more just daily life, simple living, and those are really, for me, they're really fun to color. Love the pumpkins. I want to get as many of my autumn books for all those pumpkins. So this was Country Autumn, and they have, because they've come out with several books through the last several years that are country ones. So this one's Country Autumn. They have other, this is a new one. They had some other autumn country ones and stuff too that are a couple years old or so. Then we have Autumn Splendor. This book, love this book too. This is a slightly different artist of theirs, so just a little bit different in the sketch. The lines, you can tell the line work is a little bit different. But again, the very realistic themes, very realistic representations. That's, I think, maybe my biggest draw to these. Love it. They do a lot with animals and arrangements and fruit, and so really cute. So this one's kind of got a little bit of a Halloween in with the autumn theme. So I'm really looking forward to coloring all these books. I was actually trying to hold off until I could do my proper flip-throughs, and then I was like, well, I'm not going to get to the flip-throughs right away, and I don't want to stop, which is why I started coloring some of them. Although I haven't kind of dove in because, again, I was trying to hold off, and I'm like, no. If I'm in the mood to color, I should just color. So, and then they always do their thumbnails. So that one was Autumn Splendor. Really like these books. Those were the three the 3 ones I just showed you were the 3 new autumny ones for this year. This one is also for this year, but this is an easy autumn one again. And again, like I explained with the last easy one, I really like the ones that are easy because you can just kind of mindlessly do them and you can bring them to life, and it might start out as a simple picture. Now these are a little bit more detailed than the easy ones from the Damita Victoria, but again, same idea. You can kind of bring them to life. It's kind of fun, and without the big backgrounds and stuff. Oftentimes my biggest holdup is doing backgrounds because I can do the foreground elements, and then I get to the background, I'm like, what do I want to do? And so that is what oftentimes stops my pictures from being completed. So love that this has all these fun, wonderful harvest fruits, birds, and of course the pumpkins. So easy. I love this one. Like, I'm really looking forward to coloring in all these stones and seeing how this fireplace will be. However, because it's a fireplace with a lit fire, I will have to do a lot of research, and so that's kind of thing. It's like, oh, I'll go and be like, oh, I want to color this picture, and then I'll be like, oh, but now I gotta look up fireplace and see how the glow goes and all that. And I know that I don't have to, but for me, for the way I am, I'm going to, and then I'll be like, oh, that's a lot of work. I just want to color something quick right now, and so I'll end up going to a different book or something. So I should just like get on task and do some of those ideas I have. So, but yep, love this easy coloring book. Now this one, they always have the single pictures. They're about 25. Sometimes their books have 30. This one I want to say has 50, if I'm right. The Amazon order page would say how many pictures are. This is one of their thicker books. And like I said, I really do like these easy ones. So this is a nice autumn one. And these ones are from last year. And actually, so they have autumn scenes, they have autumn life, and then they had like an autumn country, which is different than their country autumn. But they had 2 books, and I have all of those on PDF. So I actually have all of their autumn collections on PDF, but I don't have all of the books. And they actually have compilations. So they have the 4 books that came out last year, which is this book, and then some of their other ones as an autumn book. And I'm actually thinking about getting, but I kind of want to make my way through some of these pictures before I get the secondary book. So they do have the autumn scenes in it if you're interested in seeing some of these ones. Again, you can tell that when they have slightly different artists do their work, just a little bit different style, and I like that because the company, it's good. I don't like to buy books if I don't know if I'm going to like the pictures. At least they show the pictures on the website now for all their books, and they do have some different artists, but I've liked all of the stuff that their artists do, so it doesn't really matter to me which one of their artists does the books. I pretty much know I'm going to end up purchasing that one. So this was not a brand new one. This one's been out for a year, but still really cute. Again, full of pumpkins, full of harvest items, full of fruits and things like that. Autumn Life, again, you're going to get a lot of your food compilations, animals. They like their animals, scenes. Very, very farmy. It's Autumn Life. It's very farm oriented. And I've noticed that the old-fashioned pickup truck is something that a lot of autumn books show, this old-fashioned pickup truck. I'm not sure why people don't do the more modern ones, but I do like the old-timey vehicles. So again, this is one of their more realistic artists. People look very realistic, almost photorealistic, which can be really great if you are trying to look from a photo and then do the shading properly for the skin and things like that. So again, this is not new from this year, but they have quite a collection of autumn books. So if you like autumn books, I would definitely check out their Amazon page, and then you can go through and pick the ones that you like. Alright, now this is from a company called Sally Berry. And I want to say this is the only book from that company that I have. This is also a new release from this year, I believe. I usually try and look for the new ones. Not obviously, yeah, 2021. Not that older ones are bad, but if I'm going to especially show them on a video, the older ones people probably have come across before. Not necessarily, though. And so then they have a list of other books here. This one, I like this one because it has super bold lines. A slightly more cartoony, sketchy style. So thematically, it's very similar to the pictures in like the previous books. The the feast foods and stuff. Even more realistic people, but it's got that kind of really bold, a little sketchy, kind of sketchy, almost like the Teresa Goodridge one. So really nice. And again, I like soft lines to make it look more realistic, but the bold lines actually can be helpful when you're trying to color. So I don't mind either style, and I kind of like to mix it up too. So I was really happy when I got this book. Really nice pictures. Yeah, thematically, it really kind of, for me, goes between the Teresa Goodridge Creative Haven books and the Coloring Book Cafe books. So right around there. And again, it's one copy of all the pictures. And now we have, this is the only Jade Summer Autumn book I have. Now, Jade Summer had different artists last year than they have this year. This is the new one from this year. They did have some autumn books previously that were much more like the easy autumn pictures. So big, bold things. This one's completely different. This one has really detailed, really beautiful pictures. Again, a little bit more organic. So and it's hard for me to explain, but when you look at the Damita Victoria ones, everything is very, very, like done with a ruler or done with, on a computer, whereas these ones feel very hand-drawn. The lines are all curvy, and I don't mind the Damita Victoria ones, but I guess I prefer the organic to the super straight and organized. Very different styles, and I like it. This one's a little bit more straight. I like the different styles, though. Sometimes I do want more structure, but so this is the new Jade Summer artists. So really detailed, really beautiful, but it's a very different style. If you were used to the old Jade Summer artists, then this is a very different style. But that is some really detailed work there in that. So very fun book. And they used to do 2 pictures of all of they would do like 25, maybe 30 images and do double prints. And now they've been going to more of the 50-page, all individual pictures. So another little company change there. Right, now I have a bunch of books, country autumn books from Ava Browne. And this is a coloring book company which I want to say it's more or less recent, or it's picked up, and kind of it's almost since the old Jade Summer went out. They didn't put out books, like Jade Summer didn't put out any books like for the beginning of the year at all, and so I think a lot of people started to turn to some other companies, because Jade Summer had been known for putting out books like every week. Every week there'd be a new book, and it might not be in your style, but they'd just wait till the next week and it would be put out, and then they stopped doing that, and so some of these other coloring books took off. And I noticed that Ava Browne does they kind of mimic a lot of what's popular. So if someone puts out a chibi book, then Ava Browne puts out a chibi book. If someone puts out a book on, birds, then Ava Browne puts out a book on birds. And so, like, the autumn books started coming out, so they put out at least 3 autumn books in the last couple of months, and this one is one of their older ones. They're still good, though, but it does seem like it's a company that kind of tries to compete. I could be wrong on that, but it feels like they try to compete with what's out there, so... But these, and actually, some of the, and I don't know how many artists Ava Browne has, but like these ones are very polished, and some of their work is a little less polished, and I don't always care for the less polished. These look very, like a completed picture that's been revised and finished and done. Some of their other things, the work seem like the perspective is off, or it feels like from one picture to the next it's not even the same artist or something. So I don't know if their artists were just kind of developing their skills, but they seem to be getting better, and I really like this book. And you're probably thinking, well, all these books look exactly the same. And they're very similar, obviously, but again, it's because I love the autumn, I love the fall books. So I don't mind. I mean, if you're looking at the books, you can kind of pick which one is the style that suits you the best if you don't like doing like a billion. Now, the Ava Browne books are also ones that do double images. I think all of the Ava Brownes have double images. So then it's just going to be those pictures again. But like I said, this is one of their most recent releases, and I felt like the pictures were more polished now than they were like some of the ones I picked up earlier in the year. So that was their Country Autumn. That was their Country Autumn. This is Rustic Autumn Scenes. And so as you can see, this looks like it's probably a different artist. And it's things like this. This seems a little bit less polished. It's still a fine picture to color, but like the animal and the perspective, like something about the clouds and the trees and the giant leaf and the bridge, it feels like the perspective is off. Like the bridge is too small. The animal is kind of weird. And I don't want to be like picking these apart. And maybe this is more your style because it's very cartoony, but like this book from the last book, the other books felt more professional, maybe? It's hard to say. Now, these are still great pictures, and I really like this dark corn here. But there's just something about some of these books where it feels like it's not quite to the same level. Now, like, see, and then some of their books, it feels like from one picture to the next is like a wildly different style, which isn't terrible, but when you're going for a book, oftentimes you like one style and maybe not another. Now, I don't mind. I really like these pumpkin-y pictures here, but I don't know if this was the same artist or if they got several artists to do pictures and they just kind of put them together, but this is kind of what I'm talking about. The Ava Browne books aren't always that uniform, I guess is maybe the word I want to say. So, and then you get into your duplicate pictures. So still nice books, but yeah, the Ava Brownes aren't necessarily my favorite, but they have been putting out a lot of different thematic ones that I have liked. So I try them out, and I like that they do come with the two pictures too. So. Okay, and then we have Autumn Scenes, which I think was the earliest one from this year. And again, this is definitely a different artist. I like this one has the cute little animals. This one, while being more cartoony, is again much more consistent within itself. So the other book, I don't really care as much for the books that are not consistent, I guess. I like the ones that are more, they go together, they look like they're done by the same artist. Now, I want to say that the Ava Browne ones do not have a lot of preview pictures, so you kind of have to just go by. I think they do have like one or two, but I prefer the ones where they show a lot more, so that I can kind of get an idea of, yes, that's definitely a style. Like, yes, there's a lot of pictures in there I definitely want to color. Because sometimes you can like a style, but the pictures just don't inspire you, so I like to see the pictures. But that was another new one from this year, Autumn Scenes. And then this is one, their autumn coloring book. You can see the font's a little different, was earlier, and I want to say this one was from last year, because I don't know that they had a bunch. But again, slightly different style again. This one is a lot more refined again. I like this one because of that refined look. I do like the cartoony, kind of sketchy ones, but I also like the ones that seem like they're kind of cleaned up. You know, this looks like it, you know, sketched, but then the artist has gone through and cleaned up a lot of their sketch lines. But, so, yeah, you're going to see a lot of pumpkins, harvest fruits, animals, country scenes. That's what I like. These are probably my favorite genre of coloring book, if you can have coloring book genres. I probably would color them all year, although I kind of feel like I should only color them during the autumn itself. But, yep, so that was my Ava Browne. Okay, and now these ones are from last year. These are not new ones. But because I was featuring all of my autumn books, I have my Kameliya Angelkova, Autumn Mandalas, and then her Autumn Miniatures. I love her books. Her books are wonderful. And her mandalas, she does do the patterned mandalas that are just pure patterns, but I really like that her thematic mandalas are picture oriented. So, you know, you get the pumpkins and stuff. You get these large pictures. I love these ones. Like, I'm not so big on doing just patterns, so I love the ones that has a picture and then the pattern that kind of frames it. They're just fun. They're simple, easy to color. You can start them. They don't take forever. I tried out a lot of sets of pencils. I was using student grade pencils with this one. But yeah, really love these images. Just so cute and really pretty. Yeah, she's a great artist. And I'm really glad that she's still putting out newer ones, although obviously the autumn, once you do autumn, you've done autumn, so. So yeah, I like the mandala style one, and then also her miniatures, and her miniatures are just small little pictures that they're very, like, they're big. They're kind of like the easy ones, only it doesn't take up the whole page, so you don't have to feel like you have to take time to color in the whole thing. It's nice for when you just want to do a quick snippet and be done and be finished, but you still have time to do some details, so it's not just a rush job. But I like them because they are quick little pictures, but she's got a very good stylist, so she's got a very concise style. And like I said, some of the artists or some of the companies, they put out a mishmash and you're not always sure exactly what the pictures are going to be like, but hers is always the same style, but very beautiful, very cute. I really like her stuff. So this was her autumn one. So yeah, lots of pumpkins, fall leaves, animals. Really fun pictures. So that was my Kameliya Angelkova. And then this book is an older book that I got this book from, I want to say the Book Outlet, but I have found it on Amazon, and I want to say I paid like $2, and I think it's available on Amazon for $2. And if you like fall things, it's pumpkin spice and everything nice, by Julianne St. Clair. Now this one does not have single-sided pages, and this is obviously not an Amazon book. This is a book. So this one has the thicker paper, very much like Creative Haven. So it's really smooth. Now because it's got double-sided, I'm not sure how well markers will, because even the water-based markers will bleed through. So this will be one that I do when I want to be a little less detailed, because I know that I won't get a lot of colored pencil layers, but I can't use the alcohol markers. Those definitely bleed through paper. I may be able to get away with the water-based markers, though. And I can probably do some watercoloring, so I'll probably use this for doing some watercoloring techniques, too. Even if it rumples the page. And you can actually, like, if a page gets rumpled, especially if it's this heavier paper, you can spray it with water and iron it, and you can get it practically back to flat again. So now this is an older book, so it is relatively inexpensive, but it's really quite well put together. And it again, it doesn't have the single-sided pages, so you kind of have to be careful about how you're going to color it. But this is just such a nice book that I'm really happy that I was able to find it, and it was at a great price. So really beautiful book there. And a little bit different from a lot of the ones that the artists that put out on Amazon offer. So anyway, that is pretty much all of my autumn themed books, although I also had all of my Halloween themed, which are very similar, and I did do a video on that one already. But again, I was just wanted to showcase kind of my autumn collection, especially because a lot of the books are recent releases from this year, and if autumn coloring is your kind of a thing, then maybe you'll find a book here that you didn't know about it or haven't seen, and being able to look at it, you'll be inspired by it. So anyway, that is what I have for you today, so I thank you very much. Bye-bye.